Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. Your son thinks I'm Uncle Ken.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll take it. Whatever.
Nice.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Cool. We are live, by the way, although I haven't put out the broadcast yet.
Okay.
And Dan is figuring out Skype. If we can get that to work.
Figuring out Skype. Okay. Oh, you already had one plugged in for me. Jeez. Yeah. Did I use these last week?
I think you did.
Okay, I could use these.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally up to you.
I finally found these, so I was like, yeah. They bring him in.
Yours do look nicer, so I don't know. Appearances can be deceiving.
I hate the player, hate the game.
All right. So did you get a chance to look at the show notes?
Little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you have anything for the stupid questions to ask of
I do.
Okay.
I was able to
Cool.
compile. I don't know if
Cool.
I'll try and be as least offensive as possible. Was he cool with the topic?
I think so.
All right.
I mean, you know.
All right. Fair enough.
He makes fun of things for a living, so I think
Right.
he's okay.
So he's okay with it.
Yeah.
Is that your Duck Dynasty cup? Oh yeah.
How did I even get that?
Remember, it was the gift exchange.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cool. We are live. That's good.
Evernote. Yes, the people that have diligently signed on to watch us live get nothing but silence.
We appreciate your patience.
It's well worth the effort, huh?
Oh yeah.
Hey, we are 13 minutes ahead of schedule. Let me just say
Yes.
that right now. Coming up on Pop Mockers. Special guest, Dan Piraro. Pronounced Piraro, right?
Yeah.
Good. Things you should always say to your kids. Questions you should never ask a vegan. Got a long miss just in.
Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Is it?
I like it.
Okay.
You don't like it?
I don't know. I'm never fully convinced.
Struggle with his weight. Get excited about baseball and football and complain about the government. Now, the music is definitely probably going to time out on that one, but I will do my best to plow through it. And I'm going to get some water.
Yeah, it'll definitely.
Superman severed.
It's actually Spider-Man's.
Oh, excuse me.
You really need to.
Actually, yeah, there's no way it would be.
Oh, Dan just called, and I totally missed it. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Oh, I figured it out. Why don't I see a picture of you, and why don't you see a picture of me?
I don't know. I don't think we have pictures in the in our profiles, I guess. Were you looking to video chat?
No, I mean, on Skype, don't you usually see each other while you're talking?
I think so, but
You think so? I thought you did this all the time.
well, there's video chats and then there's audio chats with Skype.
Okay, so this one's an audio
So
chat.
this is just audio because I actually have a video feed going to the website. So I'm sorry if you pretty
No,
yourself
it's fine.
up.
It's fine. I'm not I'm not looking my best at the moment anyway, so.
Cool.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great. You hear me okay?
Yeah. Rather amazingly well.
Awesome. Yeah, Skype is good for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's on the menu?
Well, you can hear me eating.
Yeah.
That's some good microphoning.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been working my ass off all day.
Mhm.
I'm leaving town next week.
Oh, okay.
I finally finished. I thought, oh God, I'm gonna make myself some dinner. And I start making myself some dinner, and then I get this text from you saying, "Hey, that thing is tonight." Oh my gosh, shit! I forgot. So I just finished my. I did finally finish my dinner, but now I have to eat it.
That's fine. That's fine. You can. We're laid back here.
All right. Do you guys actually like post it live as it's happening?
Yeah, we do.
How many listeners do you have, or do you know?
It's a modest but growing amount.
12?
No, it's more than that, thankfully. But
Yeah, more like 14 or 15.
oh yeah,
so.
this is
Just joking.
that's Nate Henderson, my co-host on the line. Nate, this is Dan.
Nate.
Dan, this is Nate.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Nate.
How you doing?
I'm well.
Good. We're thrilled to have you here tonight.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Awesome.
I'll be even happier after I finish my food so I don't have to talk with my mouth full.
Yeah, we do it. That's not a big deal.
Maybe I'll be done before we start. That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think we got 10 minutes by our count or something. So
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah. Don't choke. Take your time.
Now, how is Skype free?
That's actually a great question. They gotta be. Well, I think what it is they offer the free service, and then that kind of lures you in.
Yeah.
And then if you have like a multi video chat, like it'll let you video chat for free. But then if you want multiple people to conference, then they start costing you money.
Yeah.
And I actually pay them a little bit each month and each quarter because I use their phone services. I have a dedicated phone number and stuff through Skype and the ability to call any regular landline.
Wow.
So
It's kind of like
The interwebs are amazing.
Yeah.
yeah.
First time I ever used Skype was from Costa Rica, and the connection was horrible. Of course, this was back in about 2004.
That's true. When did Skype start? Like, was it early 2000s?
I don't know. I had them. I started using them back in like 06, I think.
I just imagine it wasn't very good until broadband became more of a permanent fixture.
Yeah.
Dial-up Skype.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like your
plus
phone,
my,
but chirpier.
My internet connection in Costa Rica was pretty lame.
I would imagine. Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah, I used to. I would like I'd go on iTunes to download a movie, and it would take 6 hours
Oh wow.
or 8 hours or something. So we got in the habit of doing it. Like before I went to bed at night, I would set up I would download a movie that I wanted to watch the next night.
Yeah.
Have all night to download it.
Nice. Yeah, I work in.
That sounds right.
I work in customer service for that kind of thing, and we do get those customers who are like just way out, like missionaries in some like Kenya or something, and they're
they just have no.
I don't know. Yeah,
they're
just,
bouncing off of 5 satellites, and
Yeah.
they're just like, I don't understand. It's so choppy.
5 gigs takes like 5 days. It's crazy.
I remember
Well,
yeah. Oh, sorry,
The
Dan.
other day I read something or other, and I think it was saying that the original Apple computer had a 2.8 meg capacity.
Wow.
And that was probably like switching out with floppy disks, like.
Yeah, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember we had a Mac, some kind of old Mac, and we had to.
Apple II?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No, we had like one of the original Macs, and we had to. You couldn't store anything on the computer. Anytime you wanted to play a game, you had to put in a disk.
Sure.
And it stored everything, and then you would have to switch to another disk in the middle of the game or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah, Yeah,
Good times.
First computer my family had just had nothing but 5.25 floppies. Just these big old things you lock in, and screen was green and black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. I didn't really get into computers until about I don't think I owned one until about 95.
Oh, yeah.
That's
My first one was that what was that wacky Mac that kind of looked like a big TV set, and it had like clear plastic and
Oh, the iMac.
blondie blue plastic.
Yeah, the iMac.
The iMac, yeah.
That was the
Apple's
iMac, the
comeback,
first
yeah.
iMac.
Yeah, the one that had Jeff Goldblum selling them.
Oh, really?
On TV. Yeah,
I don't
they
even
had one of
remember
those
that.
ads. Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he was just so funny. He's just like it looks like a television, and you put the disc in, and it's up and running, and it's just like it's like, I just remember him like it's right during the time of like Jurassic Park, like shortly after that, and so they like figured, who do we want as our spokesman?
Nice.
Jeff Goldblum, of course.
That was actually a fairly good Goldblum impression.
I know. That
was rhythm right and everything there. Yeah,
that was spot on.
I like Goldblum.
I do too.
I pretty much like him in everything he's in. I have not seen a Jeff Goldblum performance that I haven't been like, you know what? Even if you don't consider him a good actor, just the way he talks, I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like he sounds so scatterbrained, but like it's so calculated. I think at the same time, as far as his delivery goes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I would listen to if he was reading a phone book, just because there's something about his delivery that is endlessly fascinating.
That would be the best. Oh, man.
It's like Christopher Walken.
If there was a podcast,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
If there was a podcast of the two of them reading a phone book, I would subscribe instantly.
Christopher Walken and Jeff Goldblum reading a phone book.
That would fill my drive to work.
There's money
every day.
Nice.
That's what. Next
He's
up.
a very good piano player. Did you know that?
Who's that? Walken?
No,
Goldblum.
Oh, Goldblum. No, I believe it. He's.
I was at a kind of a Hollywood event thing that. I mean, that sounds very shishi, but it wasn't.
Go ahead, drop some names.
No, please name
names.
drop. Please name drop.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't. It was just this. It was this kind of a movie premiere that Jerry Lewis was doing, and so there were a handful of celebrities there. Some friend of mine was invited, and so he brought me along. But after it was over, they had this kind of like big reception thing with a live band. Excuse me, with a live band. Hopefully, I'll stop burping and pick up here.
Like I said, anyway, we do it too. So it's fine.
They had this band afterward, and Goldblum was playing electric piano, like this, like really, he's like doing ragtime and jazz and all kind of stuff. He was fucking badass. It was amazing. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I stood again. Of course, it was on a riser about 3 feet off the floor, so I just stood there next to the piano and
just
stared.
In awe. That's excellent. No, oh man.
I remember all the parties I've been to that Jerry Lewis has thrown.
You're so full of crap. Oh man, no, I can't ever say I've been to any Hollywood party, but man, I'd love to see Jeff Goldblum play on the piano. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
There's got to be footage out there, right? I mean, there's got to be in YouTube.
There's probably on YouTube.
You just do, you just put in Goldblum piano or something, and
I guarantee it.
It's so. Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah. Hey, did you happen to get the show notes I sent you, Dan?
I did, but I didn't understand them.
That's I figured. So, my apologies.
Way to go, Cowan.
So we have a few kind of sections you can just kind of follow along with as we go through them, but there's kind of an intro section where we do a teaser of the show and then kind of throw in usually a one-liner. In this case, it's a really long liner.
Yeah, well.
Then we'll do introductions, and then we'll have like a weekly updates thing where we just talk about anything. Hey, what's going on in your life? What's new, and that kind of thing. Right. We have a pop drop segment, which is basically where we each episode we grab like some kind of snippet from pop culture, current events, and just kind of react to it, respond to it. So this week we've got just kind of an not an infograph, but just a graph from a parenting magazine, and we can just kind of respond to that and give our thoughts on that. We have a Facebook police segment, which is basically where we spot a Facebook faux pas or a social networking,
blunder.
Somebody being stupid online, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
That must be very hard to find.
Not many examples in that case.
That's one thing we rarely run out of. And then our weekly topic is, just kind of our main conversation topic is what are some stupid questions to ask a vegan? And we've come up with a few of our own that probably you've heard before, and then thought maybe if you wanted to respond to any of those or share any additional ones that you've you've heard.
We were supposed to think of ones that he's heard before?
No, not.
Oh, okay. Because mine hopefully will be unique
well,
in a couple different ways. So,
I don't know.
So am I supposed to just chatter along with you guys the whole time, or just?
Yeah.
Whenever you want me to. I mean,
whenever you want to interject on anything, feel free.
Okay.
You can interrupt us, all that stuff. I should warn you, we are used to a PG audience, so
right.
If you can keep it, syndication safe, I guess.
No problem.
But
Cowan can bleep stuff out.
If not, I can. I have the ability to go back and edit all that stuff. Cool. Well, I think we're about ready to,
good to go?
Get started.
All right.
Do you want to do a run through of your intro part?
Already did.
Already did?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
We good on sound?
I think so.
Okay. We're fine.
Yeah.
We did
I'm getting good signal, and I can remix later.
Cool.
Alrighty. Okay, then
let me know when you're ready to rock.
All right. And we are a go in 3, 2, 1.
Coming up on Pop Muckers.
Hold on.
Whoa, false alarm.
Okay, well, let's try that again. Might help if I have the right window open. All right.
Nice.
And we are go in 3, 2, 1.
Coming up on Pop Muckers. Special guest Dan Piraro. Things you should always say to your kids. Questions you should never ask a vegan. And this just in. Marvel announced a Captain America spin-off series where our hero will engage in 3 hours of TV viewing per day, struggle with his weight, get excited about baseball and football, and complain about the government, all while periodically proclaiming that our country is the absolute best in every way.
You are listening to the Pop Mockers Comedy Podcast, and here are your hosts, Nate Henderson and Chris Cowan.
Hey everybody, and welcome once again to yet another episode of Pop Mockers. This is episode number 26, brought to you April... What is tomorrow? What is the date?
Tomorrow is the 9th.
April 9th. This will be published on April 9th, but we record a day early because that's how it works. Year of our Lord 2014. And I'm super stoked about this episode.
You are, yes.
Because we have a very special guest host by the name of Dan Piraro.
Woohoo!
If the name doesn't sound familiar,
it doesn't.
It should, because he's my all-time favorite cartoonist, at least in current syndication. I hope you'll forgive me if I say it's a toss-up between you and the immortal Bill Watterson. But,
yeah, I'll forgive that. Yeah, he was a totally different category than me anyway, so I can accept that.
Yeah, but you are responsible for Bizarro, which is an internationally syndicated comic strip that I find hilarious. I pretty much grew up reading it, and Are you okay?
That was actually my dog. Somewhere behind me. I don't even know how she did that.
That's awesome.
Just making sure you're okay. But I grew up.
Dan.
I grew up reading your comics. I've got several of your collections, and me and my whole family really loved it, and so I'm super stoked to have you here. I got to meet you in person a few months ago when you were doing a show at a vegan cafe, which was also my first experience at a vegan cafe.
At a vegan cafe?
Yeah.
All right.
So it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Well, it was lovely. It was lovely meeting you, and I guess it was your brother and
his
his
daughter.
son?
Yeah, his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. You were great folks. I had a good time with you guys that day, and thanks for having me on your podcast.
Well, thank you for joining us.
I like what you're doing with your hair now, by the way.
Can you see my hair? Are you watching the live feed?
No.
Oh, okay, you're just making that up. Well, I actually did do something different with my hair.
It's hard not to notice the giant fro, Kellen.
I know.
Yeah. You may want to tame that.
I've actually adopted. I started with a goatee because that was pretty much the only place I could grow any hair.
Really?
And then I've expanded, and it's become more of a kind of an Abe Lincoln or Ken Ham kind of.
Your name looks like it should be Jedediah. That's
it does.
Pretty much
yeah.
it. Yeah.
You
look like you have a butter churn in the other room. That's.
Well, people. The character Mose from The Office.
Yes. Oh, you're a dead ringer for him.
Yeah, I have sported this look before, and yes, I do. I have been compared to. He's basically Amish or something.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I like it.
Based
on your description. So I could be watching this live online right now?
You could, yeah. I'd recommend putting your volume down if you do, but yeah, if you go to popmockers.com/live, you can check it out there. And if anyone's listening to the podcast right now in the future and would like to listen to the live broadcast or watch some talking heads, you can do that Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Pacific, and we'd love to have you join the conversation there and see our gorgeous faces.
That sounds lovely.
So Dan, you're a cartoonist. What's it like being a cartoonist? Because I've had dreams of being a cartoonist before, and I'm just wondering what that's all about. What's it like?
Yes, we could ask more broad questions, but we decided to really specify.
I figure start broad.
Callan's good at narrowing it down.
Yeah.
As far as I'm just kidding.
It's a white hot hell.
A white hot. Okay,
that's great.
Nice.
Yeah, I think. No, it's actually it's a great job, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is that it's 365 days a year,
right,
for as long as you can keep it going, and you don't get time off for vacation, for sickness, for grief, for major injury, nothing like that. You've got to just keep going and going and going. A joke a day, every day of the year for however many months, decades, or millennia that you managed to keep it going. I've actually been doing this almost 30 years.
Wow.
Next January
amazing.
will be the 30th anniversary of the first time Bizarro appeared in any newspaper.
Wow.
I can't believe it. Old geezers are always saying, "You're not gonna believe how fast your life goes, here, young fella." But sadly, it's true. It's and it just goes faster all the time. I honestly feels like 5 years ago I started this, and now it's been almost 30.
Wow.
A joke a day for 30 years. If somebody had told me I was going to have to do that when I started, I never would have signed that first contract. I don't think I would have thought that it would be possible.
Wow.
With a new idea every day for 30 years, but
now,
I don't know.
Now is that because every single day? That's because it's expected to be in a publication that you've signed on to or something? I mean, I apologize. I'm not familiar with how the whole process works. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's very simple.
There's a thing called a newspaper.
Yeah,
I'm aware a newspaper is daily. Thank you very much. I wasn't sure. Dan, have you ever stockpiled? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever
added a buffer?
Have you ever just like take a weekend and just churn like 5 of them out so you can actually have like a week off, or does it not come that easy? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the process is.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. I mean, like for instance, I'm going to leave town next week. I'm going to be gone all week, visiting friends and family, and so I'm having to work double time this week. But the hard part is the ideas. I mean, I could draw a cartoon a day is not a big deal, but coming up with an idea a day. So trying to come up with 2 ideas a day or 5 ideas a day for X amount of time, it just gets that's where it becomes difficult. And it's not just drawing it. Then I got to format it between a panel and a strip shape, 2 different shapes. It's offered in 2 different shapes, and then I have to color it all in Photoshop and upload it, and it's just never ending. And then you have people writing and asking if they can reprint something, so you got to deal with a ton of like emails and things about that every day. And then I have that blog I do now these days I'm doing it twice a week, so I got to write a blog and post my cartoons on there. So it just gets to be like
random people asking you to be on the podcast.
Nickels and dimes you to death. There's just tons of little finagly things to do constantly. But no, the way it works is a syndication company is to a cartoonist what a record company is to a band. I give them cartoons, and it's their job to sell them and distribute them to as many places as possible, collect the money, give me my part, that kind of thing. So, yeah, my cartoons appear in 300 and some newspapers all over the planet 7 days a week. So I got to get them enough material to run new stuff 7 days a week forever.
Nice.
For as long as I want to do it anyway.
That's awesome.
That's why people like Watterson and Larson retired when they did.
Yeah.
They just get tired. You get tired of doing it, and they had more money than Oprah, so they could afford to quit. I've never been quite in that league, being able to of just having like metric bucket loads of money forever. That hasn't happened to me yet. So. I'm still working, still paying the mortgage.
Yeah. Keyword is yet. It will happen eventually.
Yeah. Only been doing it for 30 years.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. Within the next 30, it's a shoo-in. It's that's awesome. Are you releasing like a 30? Is there some big like maybe 30-year anniversary collection in the works? Maybe that would be awesome if there was something like that. No? Yeah, it's fine.
My girlfriend and I are planning to go to dinner that night.
Hey, there you go. That's something. So
cool. No, I'm actually pitching a book at the moment. I might have a book coming out by then. I don't know. I'm getting ready to do a podcast, but those are lame. Nobody listens to those.
Exactly.
I am going to start a podcast here in the next month or so, I think.
Oh, awesome.
We're working on a deal with that, and what else have I got going? I don't know. I got stuff going to promote it, but I can't recall right now. I just had a hellacious day of work.
Yeah.
I just worked. Actually the last several days, because I'm trying to get ahead for this out of town trip. So the last several days I've just been working like 15-hour days, 12-hour days.
Oh my gosh.
And I only just finished. I only knocked off work about 30 minutes ago, so my brain is still a little bit addled at the moment. Or I would probably be funnier and more clever, and I'd be able to answer your questions more directly.
No. You're doing great.
That's quite all right. And it would help if some of our questions were maybe a little less. What's it like being you?
Hey, that was your question. That wasn't.
That remains to be seen. Nice.
But the fun part about being a cartoonist is I work at home. For years now I've worked at home. I'm my own boss, so that's great.
That's
what I love.
That's very nice.
And I like to draw, so I get to draw every day. And it's a creative career, So I like it. I'm lucky to have it. It's a difficult job to get, and I'm just happy that I was able to manage to hold it together this long.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I got one more question for you before we proceed. What is it? I know you get asked questions a lot. about your job and about what you do. Is there any question that you hate answering? That you get asked like a lot that you just, why do people always ask that?
About cartoons, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. People do tend to ask the same questions over and over. I don't really hate any of the questions. I mean, I get a little tired of answering them. Like, people will ask, "What's it like to be a cartoonist?"
Yeah.
They'll ask, like, "What's the one question you get all the time you really hate?" Stuff like that. And that stuff is pretty annoying. But
Nice.
but I find that no, I'm kidding. No, I don't get annoyed. I mean, I'm always just I just whatever. No, I don't think there is any one question that people ask too much or a stupid question. I guess the one question that no cartoonist can ever answer is people say, "Where do you get your ideas?"
Yeah,
that's
like you could possibly have an answer for that.
I just have a magical idea, genie.
Bud Grace, who does Piranha Club, he always answers Egypt.
That's good.
When people ask that question,
just give a geographic location. There's your answer.
Yeah. So I tell people thin air.
Awesome.
I mean, I don't know. Well, I thank God I can do it though. I mean, if I couldn't come up with ideas out of thin air, I'd be working at Wendy's for 30 years.
Nice. I'm sure the hamburgers would still be just as delicious.
Super fresh. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I might try to find a vegan hamburger joint to work at.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. That's right. That's a subject that will come up later. So we usually start off our podcast with a segment called Weekly Updates.
I think we just did, essentially.
Well, was it? You think that was enough?
I think that's just fine, yeah.
You don't think we should include that?
I'm nowhere near as interesting as Dan is,
Okay.
So
all right,
we should just move on to Pop Drops.
You know what? You might be. You're right. Okay, let's go. Let's go ahead.
Unless you had something juicy.
I had phenomenal stuff.
Well, then why don't you share your stuff?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Ponchos are back.
This is what you stopped us for? This is what you brought us back for?
Ponchos are back. You remember in the 90s? Like those big striped ponchos that like all the kids with their hair split in the middle would wear?
Split in the middle? That was a prerequisite? All right.
Yeah, well, that was the 90s thing.
Okay, all right.
That was the hair
It's extremely important to differentiate between the hair and the skull if you're going to be splitting things in the middle.
Exactly.
That's very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ponchos are back.
Okay, well, I have to say that, I mean, a lot of horrific 90s fashion is back. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I'm still adjusting to it. It's
absolutely terrible.
I'm still adjusting to it. Dan, you've probably seen fashion go away and then come back multiple times, but for me,
as an old geezer, yes, I have.
Right, that's what I was getting at. But for me, seeing this is my first taste of seeing something that went out of style, should have stayed out of style.
Yes.
But the 90s are back, and I'm seeing
the
oversized striped ponchos.
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing the weird designs that I'm buying clothes for my sons that I'm like, I swear I wore this exact shirt when I was their age.
Yeah.
And it went away and came back, and it's just the trippiest thing.
I think it's kind of a blend of the 80s and the 90s, because I've seen both 80s fashion and 90s, and it's like they're all just kind of intermingling, and it's horrible. There are, because I tutor high school students once a week, and they're starting to wear things that I purposefully threw away in 95, and that's just scaring me. To know when,
I'm just glad I have not gotten rid of any of my ponchos. I didn't realize they were back. But
there you go. Yeah.
See, you've got your fashion for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, how old are you guys? You guys must be young. You're like 20s or 30s.
Well, he's in his late 20s, and I'm smack dab in the middle of my 30s. So that's.
Yeah. This is something that this happened to me too. I have two daughters, and when they were in high school, they started wearing the kind of clothes that I wore in high school. Well, people at my age wore in high school.
Sure.
And
And
maybe not you
specifically.
specifically.
It seems way too soon to be back already.
Yeah.
Isn't it though?
I mean, it's that same weird feeling. But then I remember, back when my parents went to high school in the 50s. I remember when I was in school, we would have some like sock hop day or something, and everybody would dress, everybody would start rolling up their jeans and wearing penny loafers and, all that stuff that my parents wore in high school. So, yeah, it's a generational thing. Every generation has to try to find some way to make fun of their parents, and that's how this works.
But I think the lesson here is if you just save all your clothes for like the first 30 years of your life, and your body like type doesn't change much, your weight, if you stay fit,
you save some money.
You save some money for the next 30 years because it'll all come back around. And
That's
you can just go back through
it's
it
all
and
full cycle.
You'll be hip with the kids and you'll be saving money. So.
Yeah.
I got to start. I'm at the age now where I need to start wearing those like one-piece leisure jumpsuits that men used to wear back in like the 70s or 80s. Old men used to wear them. You remember that?
That is a Twitter pick opportunity if I ever did hear one. That's fantastic.
Yeah, they got to be some of those at Goodwill or something. I suspect those will not come back though. That's my early prediction. Those are never going to come back as a regular style.
I predict those will be the only thing people are wearing 40 years from now in the future.
Really?
It
No,
might be.
I don't know. Like you see all
First,
those futuristic.
The jumpsuits will be all white.
That's right. All white. Everything will be very pure, very clean.
Everyone shaves their heads. Nobody has any body hair.
That's exactly right. It'll all be androgynous jumpsuit fun, and it'll be
random metal.
Actually, I'm gonna get one. I gotta find one of those jumpsuits and wear it under my poncho.
Oh,
that
man.
would be awesome.
That would start a 10-year fad. That would be fantastic.
And that way, if somebody makes fun of my poncho, I'll just say, "Fine, I'll take it off," and then they'll be really sorry.
Put it back on. Put it back on.
My eyes are bleeding.
Well, good observation, Cowan. Yes, it's sad now. Every time I see a high schooler wearing a salmon-colored pair of shorts, because I used to rock the exact same thing.
Man.
So
that's the other thing.
Oh yeah,
is the shorts are coming back above the knees, and I'm not prepared for that.
No,
the shorts above the knees.
You like the longer shorts, do you? So you essentially wear capris? Is that what I'm hearing?
I like a little coverage for my kneecaps, my knee bumps.
You're very sensitive about your knees being exposed.
Well, I have. It's probably me in particular because I have particularly like bony knees and like.
I can safely say I haven't noticed that.
Did you see Ong Bak, the Thai warrior?
I did not.
Oh man. Well, you should see it because it's the greatest kung fu movie ever. Except it's some Thailand martial arts, but his style is he goes at people with his elbows and his knees and ultimate force, and I think I could do that.
You think you could match that?
I could match that just with my knees alone because they're super sharp and I could stab somebody with it.
Just go to Thailand, study for 15 years, and
it's for everybody else's safety though that I need those shorts covering my knees.
Yes, that's why you need.
I'm waiting for the NBA to go back to short shorts.
Oh yes.
Well, that's what started it. Was
kind of Larry Bird used to wear.
That's right. I was gonna say Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Because like the ones they have now. I mean, I think the ones that Larry Bird, Magic Johnson wore were ridiculous, but the ones they wear now are equally ridiculous in the opposite direction. I mean, those guys look like they're wearing dresses.
They do. They
running
really
up and down the court in dresses. I don't know. Like, and once those things get all sweaty and wet, I mean, it seems like the first guy to wear short shorts is going to be way faster than everybody else in the court.
Oh, he's going to have an edge by far.
It's totally, it's weighing him down.
Yeah,
for sure.
It just takes one guy to have like a 25, 30-point game in short shorts, and then they're all going to do it.
They're all going to be wearing Daisy Dukes.
Yeah. No, it's
they're going to be dressed like volleyball players.
That's right. All it takes is one brave soul to start the trend, and the NBA will follow. So.
But you got to be sure that you got to check all the seams in your jock strap before you.
That's right. Shorts. Before you wear one of those crotch huggers.
Jock strap breaks and there's nothing. There's nowhere to put
it. That's very true. Very true. Oh man, what else you got, Kellen?
All right.
Is that the end of the weekly update?
For that segment. We can move along.
All right.
Bob drops. This, of course, is the part of the show where we drop just a little sliver, a little slice of popular culture or maybe current events.
There you are.
There we are. And we just respond to it. So this, Nate, this is actually something your wife discovered covered in her parenting magazine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Dan, I don't know if you're following along in your show notes, but this will be in the show notes for this podcast episode once it's published. But it's this graphic, and it's titled 10 Things You Should Never Say to Your Kids.
Mm-hmm.
And on the list are several things. And Dan, you've been a parent a lot longer than either of us. What on this list would you say you should never say to your kids? I want your opinion on this.
Just you want me to just come up with something that I should never say to my kids?
Oh no, sorry. So there's a graphic in the show notes if you have those. If not, no worries, I can read it to you. That lists.
No, I don't have it. I do have that. I just found it. I just pulled it up.
Okay.
But wait a minute. These are things you should never say to your kids. Like, be careful.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
That according to
this widely circulated parenting magazine.
Yeah.
This is 10 things you should never say to your kids, and we are baffled by this.
I'm baffled by it too.
Okay, so we're on the same page. So
I said all 10 of these things to my kids.
Thank you.
On an hourly basis.
Exactly.
Yes. So we'll read these off for our listeners. So there's let me help. Apparently, you're not supposed to tell your kid, "Let me help you with that, honey." Yeah. Let me help you get the milk out of the.
I'm so lazy.
You're too lazy. Like, no, you got it. Do it yourself.
But yeah, I never said that.
That's fine.
I often said, get your mother to help.
There you go.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Smart man.
Great job is the next one. I'm going to jump ahead. Great job. You can't say great job to your kid. Why not? It's a nice.
So there's an article that accompanies it that kind of explains, and it's basically getting feedback from all these psychologists on why.
Of course.
Well, it could damage your kid in this one way potentially, because if you say great job just all the time, then you're basically not teaching them that they have to earn the great job that they did, and that's fine. And I see the logic behind that, but you can't say never say great job to your kids or it'll damage them for the rest of their lives. It's okay to, hey, you drew me a picture of a superhero. I think you did a great job. Mm-hmm. Great job. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's nonsense.
Be careful. Because heaven forbid
that was my favorite one.
Teach your kids to be safe in any way.
Yeah, I know. On the other side of this, like when my first daughter was born, I was very young. I was like 11 or something. I don't even remember. But I was very young. When my first daughter was born, I was actually 24, and I didn't mean to have a child at 24, but I got married at 21, which I didn't mean to do either.
Just happens.
And we ended up having a baby. So we were too young to be raising a kid. And so we were scared to death she was going to explode. So we were constantly telling her to be careful. And to this day, she's 30 years old now, and to this day, she's kind of scared of everything.
Okay, so that's...
Meanwhile, her younger sister, like, we didn't even care anymore. At that point, the younger sister came along 5 years later, and we're like, yeah, go have fun. Yeah, here, take the machete, go.
Just
totally.
Go. What is it about the second kid that is just kind of caution kind of goes out the window?
I think what it is the first kid. You're new to parenting. It's your first exposure.
Oh yeah,
so you're super paranoid. You're overly protective. But then they inevitably do bang their nose. Hit their head.
Oh yeah.
Swallow a penny, and at the end of the day, they're still mostly breathing. And
sure.
And you realize, maybe I don't need to be such a freak. I think there's that aspect of it, and then there's also just the fact you have more than one kid,
right.
So you just can't bother to give them your full attention nonstop like you could with the first kid. So you're just like, sure, Jimmy, go play in the street, go play chicken in the road, all that stuff.
Yeah. And also, you have the other one. If that second kid, something happens.
That's right.
You got the backup.
Got first one.
You still got one.
I mean, how many do you really need?
Exactly. It's all about It's all about survival of the fittest, really. When it comes down.
So
They're expensive. That's right.
Exactly.
Darn right they are. So you're okay. We're not allowed to say you're okay. I equate that to like, okay, suck it up. You're fine.
That's well, and
What
that's
the
the
heck is
context
wrong
of
with
this.
that?
Is if your kid is crying, you're not supposed to tell them they're okay because they're crying, so they're not okay.
Oh my gosh.
But as anyone who's ever been a human being or had a kid knows, your kids are going to cry for reasons they don't really need to cry for.
Oh, like 90% of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's part of being a parent is helping them to have a little perspective, helping them to see, hey, you know, I realize that I don't know what's something kids cry about.
I don't anything. Well, if it's my
Anything.
kids, anything. So yeah.
I realize that, you know, your sibling has the Play-Doh and you wanted that particular color.
Right, and it just crushed your world.
And
but
you don't need to cry about that. You are okay.
Fair
I
enough.
think that's okay.
okay.
Something that they're neglecting to mention here is that a big part of any childhood is getting screwed up by your parents so that you'll have something to tell a therapist one day.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's just a part of life.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I think the therapist helped out with this article so that it would ensure they had work in the future. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of goes to a broader topic to me. I'm like, okay, this is an example of we have a quota of pages to fill in our magazine,
Right.
and we are going to stretch with something, you know, super. Oh, this goes against what most people think because it's dead wrong.
Well.
Yeah, and then they know that some idiot's going to pick it up and put it on a podcast, and then they're going to sell even more magazines.
That's right.
Exactly.
You're
That's
welcome.
why they do this. You're playing right into their hands, gentlemen.
You're welcome, parents.com. Wait, what? So yeah, the rest of these are just ridiculous.
The practice makes perfect. Hurry up because you really should never.
Tell your kids.
Your
I
kids are
tell
so
my kids to
delicate.
hurry the heck up all the time.
Yeah, but what they said is you should say it in a gentler way. You said, "Please hurry" instead of "hurry up."
Oh, okay.
But
So if you say like "hurry up" or "I'll give you a spank," that's a bad thing.
I
Okay,
guess so.
All right,
maybe.
fair enough.
No dessert unless you finish your dinner.
What is their justification for that crap?
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, really. That one I can't even imagine what their high-minded, touchy-feely idea is about going on there.
I have no idea.
My kids are picky eaters as it is. It's like pulling teeth to get them to eat a normal meal. It's
And-
like I'm not.
Well, now hold it. That may be the problem. They need teeth to eat.
Touche, man.
That could be where you're going wrong.
I'm really screwing myself with the dental bills. Dang it. That's a good point, Dan. I wasn't thinking of that.
Now this one I can kind of see. We can't afford that. I've seen this happen, and I don't think you should worry your kids about your budget necessarily. I don't think you should necessarily be always, letting them know. If you don't have a lot of money, I don't think that's something you need to be telling your kids, that kind of thing. So I can kind of understand we can't afford that because I'll generally just say that's not something I want to spend my money on because it's not whether I want to get you that thing or not.
So you're not poor, you're a tightwad.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right. I just wanted to make sure which impression you were giving your children, which one was better than the other. So,
well,
okay,
see, now
I used to just tell my kids when they would ask for something that I couldn't afford, I would just tell them that would make you too happy. And I think that sends the right message.
I think so.
I'm adopting that. That's fantastic.
That's good.
You've already had too much joy today. I think we're not going to add any more to that. So you can't have that thing.
Yeah. Well, now I just went through Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University.
Did
so
you?
Now I just say that's Dave Ramsey doesn't allow me to buy.
Oh, so you use him as a
just blame
scapegoat.
it on Dave Ramsey.
Fair enough.
So.
I'm going to choose a financial guru that I can just blame all the time. That works. Okay.
Don't talk to strangers.
What?
You're never supposed to say that to your kid. Now, I understand there's supposed to be more of a conversation that goes into that. Like, okay, if we're in the checkout line and the cashier says hi, you're allowed to say hi back.
Right.
But saying don't talk to strangers is something
That's right.
You should pretty much teach your kids.
Instead, tell them, hey, Jimmy, if a man comes up to you wearing a clown suit and holding an ice cream cone, make sure to follow him into his covered van.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, of course, the vast majority of trouble for kids from adults comes from people they know. So
that's
there's
true. That's
that.
a good point.
Yeah.
I used to tell, it's almost always a friend or a family member that molests children.
Yeah.
So I used to tell my kids, don't talk to anybody in the family. Strangers are probably safer.
That's right. Stay away from Uncle Bob. Stay away from Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That works.
And then the last one is I'm on a diet, because you should never teach your kids that you are trying to make healthy decisions with your dietary choices.
That's right.
Or with your weight or anything like that.
Yeah.
The thought behind that, if I remember correctly from the article, was basically, we don't want your kids, especially your daughters, to have a self-esteem, self-image issues that results in them never feeling like they're beautiful enough.
Hmm.
That's working really well. I mean, look, 60% of the United States is obese now.
I know, right?
Are we really worried about? Is anorexia our biggest problem?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
no, sometimes it's.
I don't. So.
None of these psychologists they found come from Texas, so they just don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, these are California psychologists.
Oh, absolutely, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Or possibly
Bay Area,
possibly Portland, but no.
Yeah,
Portland, Berkeley.
There you go. Yep. Basically up and down the 101. That's
pretty much anywhere along there.
So.
All right.
Okay. Well, so that article is. Bunk. Well, not bunk. I mean, they have a few valid things, but I think them using the word never.
That's a key there.
That's a dangerous
That's
word.
sensationalism. That's fluff right there. Is to say never say that to your kids.
Well, and when my wife was posting it, most people were making fun of it.
Yeah.
But there were some people that were legitimately saying this article made me feel really bad about my own parenting.
Yeah.
So unless people can hopefully take an objective look to it, there's going to be some people out there that receive this parenting magazine, and they're gonna change their behavior based on it.
Yeah, here's how you have to look at those articles that come along that say the things you've been doing your entire life that you know to be true, stop doing them. Anytime you run into those articles, it's not really an opportunity for you to feel bad about all the things you've been doing. It's just an opportunity to use some critical thinking about, just because it's written in a magazine or in the internet, does that really mean?
Are you saying it's not truth?
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
What shocks me about this is the very conspicuous things that are missing. I mean, like things that you should definitely never say to your kid, like, there's someone at the door, go get daddy some more bullets. You look hot in that. There's a lot of more obvious things that you should never say to your kids.
That's right.
That's a great point. Out of all the things you should never say to your kids, these are the ones that they decided to bring up.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Tell the police I'm not home.
Go grab daddy another 6-pack.
Let's play the magic money printing game.
That's right.
Don't touch those $100 bills until they're dry.
I've got a package of powdered sugar for you to deliver to our good friend Robbo. Yeah. All right.
Take this bag of parsley out to that car on the street.
Go get the money for daddy, sweetie.
And bring the envelope back.
That's right.
Oh. All right. Daddy's gonna win your college tuition on the lottery. All right.
Daddy's gonna bet on the ponies.
I'm bored at home, just clipping my toenails. Anybody want to do anything tonight? I totally love strawberries.
I'm going swimming in my new Speedo. I know you guys are jealous.
Anybody want to join my hobby?
Facebook police. I swear, every time I listen to that intro for this segment, it sounds longer and slower each time.
Are you saying secretly that you want to get rid of it?
I think I need to redo it. The Facebook police thing is, I don't know. It's I'm
just glad that you guys heard it too.
Okay.
I thought I was hallucinating.
He's like, my God, it's finally happened. After 30 years, I've lost it. That's awesome.
No, it's more like, oh no, it's happening again tonight. I'm hearing voices and music that don't make sense.
At least I don't see the Care Bears running around. That's,
all right, so Facebook Police is the segment where we're the social network militia. We go out, we look for the people who are doing dumb things on the internet, and we proceed to issue audio citations on our podcast. So
it's got to take a good 31 seconds of research every day.
Yeah, here's the thing that maybe not everybody knows about this segment.
They all come from Cowan's friends list.
They pretty much all come from they're all original. There's plenty of Facebook fail websites out there on the interwebs.
Sure.
And I could pull from those at any time, but I don't, because I'm a man of integrity and originality, and the fact is I don't need to, because there's always plenty.
They are on your news feed every single day.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So and I think it might just be me too. Like, I feel like sometimes those are the friends I have for some reason.
You attract people to your Facebook that I just can't. I don't know how it happens, but it's amazing. Like, these people never, like, the type of people that make up these statuses. I would never have guessed in a million years that you would ever declare, "I want this person as my friend," which leads me to believe that it's just that 80% of your friends on Facebook are merely acquaintances. They have to be. Or by association or something.
The term friend is loose. I'm very inclusive on my friends list.
You're an ego hog.
Well, that's What's the point of having a Facebook profile or a Twitter account if it's not to somehow feed your ego?
Well, you got me there.
Right?
I guess so.
So this citation, I'll just read the caption to you, but it is actually accompanied by a mirror selfie. This was well, as you'll see, it's a mother who took a selfie in the mirror and is very excited because here's what she has to say. Yes! What an amazing feeling to finally fit into my pre-baby pants size after baby number 3. And that's fine. That's a fine thing to celebrate.
Sure is.
Take a mirror selfie. I'm proud of you. You lost that weight. You got back in shape. That's great. And then the hashtags start.
Yes.
So there's a few that are fine. There's nailed it. All right. Mama 3. Yeah. MILF. Okay. High five. What? MILF? You don't. You are not allowed to tag yourself
as a MILF.
And for those of you who don't know, MILF stands for Mother I Like to
Fondle. Wait, no.
Fondly think of.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I think.
All right, will you stop? We all know what it means.
Okay.
There's a single listener of the podcast who doesn't know what it means.
You may be jumping to conclusions here. That may have been a typo. She might have been trying to type milk because she's still breastfeeding.
That's true. That's a good point.
That's good.
Dan with the save, the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm actually. It's sad. I'm looking at a keyboard right now to see how close the F is to the K.
Nowhere close.
Okay, fair enough.
Autocorrect? No.
No. So that's a pretty big foul, I think.
I think so. I don't think you're. First of all, and she's married, and it's a weird thing to put on a photo
on your
of yourself.
On your own thing, yeah.
That's it's a little bit presumptuous, I think. Is that just me? I don't know.
I'd agree. It's kind of odd, It's.
I would agree if I hadn't done it to myself.
See, that's okay. Irony is okay.
Yes.
That's acceptable.
Dan is a DILF. So that's.
All right. I'm not. Let's not. I'm done. Let's move on.
topic.
This is the part of the show where we choose a topic and we discuss it. Pretty straightforward, I think.
It's pretty
Pretty
deep.
straightforward. So this week, we've got Dan on the show as a special guest host, and I didn't want to go the obvious route and talk about cartooning because
So
That
we
would
didn't.
I asked the all-encompassing question at the beginning.
Yes, you
What's
did.
it like being a cartoonist? I think that covers it.
So yes. So you tried and you failed.
So I actually that was the one question I actually didn't have written down to ask him
Okay.
about cartooning.
Spur of the moment.
But it was kind of like my leading question. But
Fair
then
enough.
it opened up into so much conversation. I just skipped all this stuff about the Taco Bell dog and Gary Larson. So.
It was a stroke of genius.
So we're going to be talking about veganism because Dan, you are a vegan, right?
That is true. I am from the planet Vega.
I knew it.
Yes, I knew they weren't from here. So what is a vegan for those who? Does anybody not know what a vegan is?
Well, no, I think
People in
get
the middle of the
confused.
country don't know.
Okay.
I think people get
Flyover states.
confused. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so a vegetarian is somebody who doesn't eat flesh, but they will eat other animal products like milk and eggs, that kind of thing. And a vegan won't eat any animal products whatsoever. Milk, dairy, dairy or milk. Dairy,
Right.
eggs, or
Either
or
one
any
of those is off
any kind
limits.
of animal. No fish, no animal whatsoever.
No
so
eggs.
it's just plants.
Right.
So that's a vegan. I've been a vegan for 12 years or maybe 13 now. I don't know. I lose track. I'm not good with numbers.
So, and I actually, like I said, I got to my first visit to a vegan cafe was to see your show, and I got to eat lunch with you, and I have to say, I was impressed.
That's good.
I had a sunflower burger,
A sunflower burger.
and I don't know what was in there, but it was actually very decent. I was very impressed with the food there, and then I
That's
had
good.
some sort of, I don't know what it was, some kind of like phosphate type thing, but that was good too. So
Phosphate kind
phosphate?
of type of thing. What do you mean phosphate?
I don't know what it was.
You mean
Glowing?
like a
I'm thinking of phosphorus. Never mind.
you
Okay.
mean like a soda? Wasn't that like a term in the 50s? Like when you
Yes,
get some
my
strawberry
sarsaparilla and phosphate.
yeah, your strawberry phosphate. What?
I don't know what it was. It was just some drink that they offered me.
Okay, it was a drink. It
that
was like
was-
like a
yeah.
it's kind of a soda syrupy sort of thing, right?
Soda alternative because of all the animals that get killed when you make sodas, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you the truth of it is that everybody eats vegan food all the time. I mean, if you have corn with your steak, that's vegan. Corn is vegan. I mean, so it's like not really that strange. The strange stuff is when you're having something that is normally meat, but it's instead made out of a vegetable product, like some kind of a hamburger type of deal.
Yeah.
So that's where you get into the more unusual kind of food. But the rest of it's all just very normal food. The vast majority of what everybody eats really is vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you switched to being a vegan for ethical reasons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I visited a farm. It's actually a farm animal sanctuary, which is it's a place where farm animals that are rescued for one weird reason or another, are brought to a sanctuary, and they're actually allowed to live out their lives like a normal animal, not in cages and barns, and and they're not slaughtered when they die or when they're old and that kind of thing. Or no animals slaughtered when they're old. They're all slaughtered fairly young in the food process. So anyway, I went to a farm animal sanctuary, and I realized in hanging out with these animals and kind of getting to know them that they had every bit as much personality and emotional presence as any dog or cat that I'd ever known. And so it just suddenly occurred to me, I just, just ethically, philosophically speaking, I thought, how can I justify, I don't mean this for everybody, I mean it for me, how can I just felt like I couldn't justify doing anything to any animal that I wouldn't do to my own cat or dog, so I stopped.
Yeah. Well, and I can definitely understand that because I've definitely known people who have less of a personality than a ferret, So
yes, for the most part. No, I can't believe that.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I've always been kind of an amateur student of anthropology and animal behavior and that sort of thing, and it's just I've come to believe that non-human animals are far more like us than they are unlike us, and the more thought I put into this stuff over the years, the more I realized that I mean, the excuse they're different than we are just isn't good enough for me to cause pain and suffering to some other being for a reason other than survival. If I was, if I had to survive, if I was on a desert island and there was, and I'd already eaten all the plants.
Oh shoot! There goes question. There goes question number 4.
Yeah.
I would, and it was just me and you. Then I would kill you in your sleep and eat you.
Okay. See.
Survival, but I mean, the fact is that we, in the United States, we eat animals because they taste good, and I just can't justify causing suffering, misery, torture, and death on an animal just because it tastes good. And it's not even good for your body, It's not good for your health. So, what it's you really don't have any good reason for. I don't have any good reason for doing it, so I just don't.
So our topic here was going to be stupid questions people ask vegans, but you actually answered about half of mine.
Did you answer that? It's fine. It can be a short conversation. It's all right.
Yeah.
I can think of one question you should never ask a vegan, and that would be, would you like to carve the turkey?
That's probably better than anything we would ask. That's good. So, do you have anything? Now, okay, here's the thing. All of yours, Cowan.
Yeah.
Yours are legitimate, want-to-know type questions?
Well, okay, I'll let you decide how legitimate.
Okay.
So
all right.
you're vegan because you see animals as as not being necessarily lesser in value to humans.
Of course.
So, and you don't think it's right. Okay, we eat them for convenience. So if would you give up veganism if cannibalism became acceptable?
I think he answered that question, right? Like if he was stuck with somebody and it was the only
no, but
source
if
of
it
food,
became
then...
mainstream, like cannibalism was
mainstream.
acceptable as like a convenience.
Oh yeah,
thing,
just a few years down the road. What the heck?
if they started, offering.
I would not. I would not give up veganism for cannibalism. I know that answer surprises you. Somehow, yeah, that's the strangest. Now that's. I've never gotten that question before. No living human has ever asked me that question. No dead one either. No one has ever asked me that question before. So I commend you for having asked me a question I've never been asked.
I had to stretch a little.
Done.
I have to admit.
Good one to start off on there, Cowan.
Nate's got one for you now.
Mine was inspired. Oh man. That I watched, where I think it was Lisa. Oh, I think
sounds like we're having some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, maybe just for a minute. Can you hear us? Can you hear us at all? No.
Dan?
I can hear you now. You've
Uh-oh.
been gone for a while though.
Oh,
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm going to cut off the video feed just in case that's affecting our bandwidth. So if anybody's watching, I do apologize, but Dan is more important than you are.
There you
go. Say that.
Yeah, you can say it.
Can you hear me now?
You can cut the.
Can you hear me now?